couch. I am reasonably uncomfortable today. Little bit of achy and dropped something on my foot just literally minutes ago. That hurts so much. Shouldn't hurt that bad, but some of my eating choices lately have left me with some joint pain. All right, so as the light is warming up and just absolutely blaring, washing me out, nice and pale, yeah. All right. And I still haven't figured out what to call my universe yet. And like one of the ideas that occurs to me is one of the things I did when I was building this universe was come up with the idea of I don't want to call it relativistic perspective, but let's see if the camera freaks out. On the top there, you can kind of see a couple of circles, a lot of circles, honestly. But what you have is this trilogy of circles here are the middle realms. The one in the middle of those are actually subset universes from the perspective of the middle realms, depending on which direction you're looking at them, though. Because that's the funny thing. You have the outside being like the spirit realm, this one being the dream realm, then you have Earth, the land of Fae, and the land of wizards. And then inside that you have heaven and hell and the home of the gods. But from a slightly different perspective, you have the home of the gods, you have the dream realm, and then you have the earth, fae, and wizards with the spirit and the dream realm in the center. And so it's really sort of set up to be looked at from the perspective of if you're in this, if you're in the middle realm, what's considered the middle realm, you could step up into the realm of dreams and then step up even further into the realm of the spirit. Or you could start in the middle realm, you could step up into the realm of heaven and hell, and then you could step up even further into the home of the gods. Now, here's the thing. Both of those interpretations are correct, and there's a forgotten truth that the spirit realm and the home of the gods connect. And so what you end up with is sort of like a hoop, a ring, that you can go from the middle realm to the realm of the gods, middle realm, heaven and hell, gods, spirit realm, dream realm, middle realm. Now you can do that circuit in either direction. And so I was like, oh, so it's a ring. And then I went further. If you do that and you structure it around Earth being the middle realm, but you also have the land of the Fae and the land of wizards or the magic world as offshoots of Earth, from that perspective, you have this large ring with these two little polyps off the side of it on the bottom. But I got to thinking, what if there's a way in which you build another ring in which the middle realm is the Fae world and Earth and the wizarding realm are polyps off the side of that one? And then I got to thinking, like, okay, if you do that, could we do a third one and do them as interlocking rings? So 3 interlocking rings resort to, it's possible that my computer is going to freak out, but we'll get, yeah, just a little bit. So what we have down here is the universe as it can appear. So you have up here, I think that I can't see it myself well enough, but I think that's spirit, and this one is God's, and this goes down to earth, and so you go from spirit to dream to heaven and hell, to earth to heaven and hell, and then to God's, in that loop, that ring that we imagine, and this is the one in between those two. But you also have down, I think one of these is Fae and Wizards that look like they're the polyps off of Earth. But if you start in Fae and go to Earth, and then you end up in heaven and hell, I believe, and then dreams, and then another realm, or you can start with the realm of the wizards, go to Earth, go to heaven and hell, or no, dream, heaven and hell, and then another realm on their side. And they also connect between wizards and their extra and Fae and their extra, forming these extra loops. Now there are sort of passages between the extra realms and the spirit realm and the extra realm and the God realm, but they are sort of like gated doorways. And so what we have here is this threefold knot with an adjoining connectors to make it a full circle. And each of these realms, that's the trick. If you start in the earth realm and you think that there's heaven and hell and then God's, and then on the other side of it, either down or up, is the realm of dreams and spirit, you have this vision of bubbles within bubbles. And as you go out further and further to the layers further out, you get a sort of a linear imagination of what that looks like. And starting in Earth, you're in the middle realm. So going to the spirit realm is going down or up too. Going from Earth to God's is down or up too. So your relativistic point of view tells you that you're going up and down in a linear path. That secret forgotten connector between gods and spirits is sort of like the linker that turns it into a ring. But even then, if somebody happened to come across that truth and realize that you're forming a ring, you end up with this complicated relativistic worldview that suggests that there are only 5 at most, if you imagine the connecting realm, 6 realms. And so I'm tempted to call it the 5-fold realm, but that would be perpetrating a lie, because in truth, between the gods, spirits, the extra on the side of the Fae, the wizards, the extra on the side of the wizards, you have 6 realms, and then in the middle you have heaven and hell, dream, and earth realm, and that's 9. It's 9-fold realms. But most people don't know that it's a 9-fold symmetry. It's a hidden fact. And then there's the added bonus of the 3 connectors between the end pieces that close those loops rather than forming a V or a line. So 9, 10, 11, 12. And then the gaps between, say, gods and the extra on the side of the wizards, which I've labeled gardens, the bridge between those, I've sort of set them up to be sort of like the lost lands, the Avalons and the Atlantis kind of thing, or those types of situations. They're fortresses at the gate between two realms. And I've also, worked on the design to be based off of knotwork. And so looking at the design of knotwork, there are the loops in the top, the crossovers in the middle form that threefold twist. That threefold twist actually ends up with a triangle in the middle, but some go over and some go under. And I've set it up so that the ones that go under are I don't want to say blocked off, but there's a barrier you have to breach in order to get through. Whereas in Earth Realm, from Earth to the realm of wizards is open for the most part. I mean, you have to go cross a threshold of some kind, a portal of some kind. From the realm of wizards to the realm of gardens is, again, pretty much open. There is a crossroads linking realm. It's not a full realm. It's sort of like I said, a crossroads. It's a combination of those two realms. And likewise, you have heaven and hell connect to the realm of the gods, and the realm of the gods travel through that forgotten crossroads space to the realm of the spirits, and the realm of the spirits connect down but hit a barrier, a wall, before you get to the realm of dreams. So Earth has access to pretty much the realm of wizards. There is a path partially open to the realm of dreams, but it does have a barrier on it. And the realm of dreams, it's most connected to the extra realm neighboring the Fae. I have it written down as Neverland because I really feel like that's the thing that makes the most sense. I need to find another name for it, but what I'm going for here is you have Earth. It's connected by portals to the wizarding realm, but you need something extra to get to the land of the Fae. The Fae are connected to Neverland, and Neverland is connected to the realm of dreams, and then it sort of barriers on everything else around it. Now, those barriers, they're not impenetrable. So I have it set up that one of the stories that I'm going to be working on is the Sandmen Chronicles, and it's about a young teenage boy whose life takes a horrible turn, and he finds himself I don't want to spoil much of it, but part of it is that he gets connected to a secret organization of dreamwalkers who have the ability to breach into the realm of dreams. And in that realm of dreams, you have the realm of dreams here from Earth. There's a barrier. It takes a special kind of person to be able to cross over that barrier into the realm of dreams. And once you're in the realm of dreams, you can go over to Neverland, or that's pretty much the only path you can follow at that point. You can go from the realm of dreams to Neverland, and Neverland to the land of Fae, and the land of Fae could link back to Earth or the realm of wizards, but there are barriers on those as well. And so it's this tangled knot, but it's a beautifully intricate, well put together, symmetrical knot. And so I love the intricacy and how well this all worked out. I'm hoping the audio is okay because the microphone fell over earlier. Um, the beauty and intricacy of this cosmogony, I think, again, it's because so many of the pieces fit really well together, but it's also because from the perspective of any one of these little realms, you can be deluded into thinking that it's a five-fold realm. And if you're particularly astute, you'll notice the middle realm is a threefold. So sevenfold. And so it's very easy for anybody in this universe to be wrong about the structure of the universe. The people of the land of Fae imagine themselves to be at one of the points, a top or a bottom, depending on who you're asking. And Earth is the midway on the way to heaven and hell, which is the middle realm for them. So the Fae think heaven and hell are the middle realm. And the two polyps off the side of that are the gods realm and the garden realm. So something like Eden. Whereas for the wizards or the elemental spirits within the garden, they imagine themselves at the top, and that Earth and heaven and hell are midway points to the realm of dream, which is the middle realm for them. And it's fascinating to really realize that, like, each one of them, there are these three loops, and each one of the outliers, the ones on the edges, imagine themselves to be at the top or the bottom of a linear path. But in fact, they are not even linear, they are loops. And each of these loops is one of three loops. And so a person who starts out as a wizard in the realm of Earth and connects to the realm of the Fae, if they were talking about the structure of the universe and the paths on which people can travel, they would immediately realize, oh, this person's completely wrong. They have a completely wrong view of how the world works or the universe works. And they're all wrong because they don't have the full picture, and they can't see the full picture because they're in the picture. It's can't see the forest for the trees. And so I'm sort of fascinated by this structure of the world. And I spent a good chunk of time today working on that. And the other half of what I was working on today was delineating the various populations. And so I did sort of add a few. See if I can pull it up here. So what we have here is the universe. So a bit of a introductory story, and then an example of a very rough outline where you start out as, at the dawn of creation, there were, and I'm sticking a lot to what we know today. So it's the four fundamental forces: the weak and strong nuclear forces, the electromagnetic and gravitational force. Those are the four that we know of. There's been speculation that maybe there's a fifth, and if there are five, the fifth one would be something like dark energy or something like that. But I'm stipulating an additional one. I'm trying to find a vague way to say it, but I'm calling it sort of the force, magic. Different people call it by different names, but it is a fundamental aspect of creation or of the universe that allows for conscious manipulation of the universe. I got to find a better way to say that. But at any rate, that's a extra one that most people in the world around us don't know about, but a select few do. And so I have the fundamental elements of the universe, and they, at their creation, they play off of each other and manifest matter, and matter manifests in different elements, and the elements are not conscious, but sort of like if you go into a cave, there's a feeling of place, a spirit of place, and that sort of sense of something there worked as a sort of lens to shape magic and the fabric of the universe, and created realms which would be further fleshed out as things went on. And then from there, the first slime, goo, and multicellular organisms came into existence and began to exert some of their influence over some of those forces. And in doing so, some of them had become so saturated with that new force that they essentially became the first gods, the primal gods, or the proto gods. And then from there, you move up into fish, insects, amphibians, and whatnot. And they, as the first conscious and motivated life forms, should really be like the first of the first. They're the ancient ones. They're the Cthulhus. They're the true monstrous gods. And then from there, you move up into the reptiles and saurians, so dinosaurs. And from them, the first ones that become saturated with magic and become immortal and can cross over into other realms become like dragon gods. And from there, you end up with the animals and the life forms that we know, and then humans. And the very first primitive humans become savage gods, and then the high gods, and then the Olympian gods, and then the next generation of gods coming up. And so that's sort of some of it. But from the other end of the spectrum, hey, easy there, just chill out. There we go. That's focusing on gods. But if you come at it from the other end of the spectrum, you have to look at the influence of spirits on the formation of life in the universe. And so that's coming from the other side of that loop and traveling through the realms. And it's an elaborate sort of like complex answer to the question of where did the universe come from. But the thing is, it's not even really an answer. We've got at least 3 to 6 different answers, and each of them is slightly different and centered around themselves. And those beliefs and those concepts that are centered around the population in that realm that you're talking about skews and tells you a little bit, and maybe helps you understand a little bit of the universe and how it works, but it never really tells you which was the first realm, where did it all come from. Any one of the 13 or more realms in the mix of this thing could be the one realm from which all others sprang. But we'll never know which one it is because every realm thinks it was them, and it may not be any of them. So it's just this interesting approach to doing the world building. But anyway, I think it was going through here. The other stuff that I did was the different races, I guess we would call them. So you have spirits and you have ghosts. And a spirit is the essence of a being frozen at the time of their death. Or in the case of the spirit realm, it's also likely that this spirit came into being, fabricated in the realm of spirit, hasn't been born yet, and is just it. It is what it is. It's an indivisible entity of itself. And how they come into being, nobody knows. And then a ghost is a combination of a spirit and a soul. And that's pretty much required to have been alive at some point. And generally speaking, the spirit is the experience and the mind and the personality and the essence of a being. The soul is some of the circumstances and experiences that bind the spirit to the body. So when you have a ghost, it is the spirit with the binder without the body. And down further is zombies, which I didn't have before today. I had thought about it and gone back and forth about it for a little while until I figured out today that zombies are going to be the body with the spirit without the binder. So it's sort of like a ghost moves a cup across a table. A ghost is moving a body, but it can't be bound to it. Damage to the body doesn't damage the spirit. Vampires, however, are a body with a soul, but unbound from spirits. And so that body and soul combination, it needs to feed off of the energy from spirits or connect temporarily to spirits to keep it anchored in place so that it doesn't end up being dead. Now, the were are two spirits sharing a body through a shifter soul. And so there are going to be different types of souls that come into play at a certain point. So if you take a shifter type soul, one that can flow and connect with different spirits in different ways, a human spirit and an animal spirit combine or connect in a symbiotic way through that shifter soul into one body. A skinwalker is a spirit with one soul and one body, able to don a second body and bond the spirit through a taken soul. It's very complicated, but it all starts to make sense and it all works out. And then, so we've got spirits, ghosts, wares, skinwalkers, vampires, zombies. Hunters exist as humans who have been altered by their exposure to magic and the supernatural. The Fae are essentially not too different from humans, except for they have managed to bind enough magic or force to their soul to strengthen it so that it doesn't break, and so they're less mortal. They don't die as easily as humans. And in binding magic to their soul, the type of magic, the flavor of magic that they've bound into themselves is it lends itself to expressing what their abilities are. I'll get into that probably tomorrow. And then here's the funny one. I talked about this yesterday, I think. Superhumans, superheroes, they exist, and they are part of this architecture. Superhumans are humans that have, in some way, connected enough to magic that they too get a portion of, they get a magic ability essentially because they are connected to a flavor of magic that manifests through them. And in this case, I would probably call it more psionic or psychic or the force kind of concept rather than magic, because it has a different feel and its application to the world feels different, but it's a parallel. It's sort of along the lines of any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Any sufficiently detailed system of magic is indistinguishable from a discipline or a science. And so in this case, the superhuman, the thing that makes a person hit by toxic waste develop superhero powers is this force they channel. And so superheroes exist. Then there are magic users who study and manipulate magic. And then there are sorcerers who have managed to study and manipulate enough magic and wrap enough of it within themselves to be sort of like the Fae, where they have nigh immortality and special abilities, that sort of thing. So that's sorcerers. And then the Goblin's Daughter story is a stage magician, a normal human, pretending to be a sorcerer or mistaken for a sorcerer. And then further into this strange conglomeration of a mess are gods, champions, my version of the Men in Black sort of thing, then Sandmen, who are humans who can cross over into the realm of dreams, concepts of angels and demons for heaven and hell. And so Sandmen live in the realm, or have access to the realm of dreams. Angels and demons connect with heaven and hell. Humans reside on Earth. Wizards reside in the wizard realm. Fae in the Fae realm. You're going to get mythical creatures in the garden. Neverland, I'm a little vague on how to populate that one. The gods, we discussed some of the god stuff. I can go into it more tomorrow, I think. And then the realm of spirits, we've covered spirits and ghosts. So each one of these realms has its native population. And I say native, the possibility that some of those are migrants from other realms, like the Fae realm. I'm pretty certain the Fae came from Earth, but now they reside in the Fae realm. So I have to really sort out I don't want to get too defining some of that, like which came first, because that defeats this cosmogony of relativistic perspective on the origin of the universe. I kind of like the vagary and the multiple versions told by different populations about themselves. And then, so we have angels and demons, and then we have monsters and mythic beasts, which are sort of two variants on a concept of monsters are created through twisting them by magic. Either exposure to magic twists them, or people twist them using magic, or beings twist them using magic. And so monsters, that's how monsters come into being. And by monsters, I mean not really necessarily demons, but like the griffins and the other creatures like that. I don't want to pick Cyclops because they're humanoid, but essentially any of the creatures that Hagrid would enjoy. Those are all mutations created by exposure or deliberate mutation via being using magic. Now, mythic beasts, on the other hand, may very well be ghosts of some creature possessing other beasts. So if you were to do something like the ghost of a rhinoceros possessing the body of a goat, you could very easily see that twisting into a unicorn. It's the one-horn large creature with the slender, bearded, white or gray fur with a tail that doesn't look like a horse tail, cloven hooves. And so you end up with a unicorn that way. Now, if you were to do something a little along the lines of, what's the other one I came up with? A protoceratops, a one-horned dinosaur, crossed with something like a sheep, you could get a Kirin, because Kirin are sort of like the Asian unicorn, but because you're crossing essentially a saurian or a reptilian kind of creature with a furred creature, that's more in line with the Kirin than what I did for the unicorn. It's also important to note that mythical beasts can breed. Monsters are sterile, usually. And some monsters can resemble mythical beasts, because you could easily combine or warp or twist a goat to resemble a unicorn. You could do that, and it could look very much like, and even fool you into thinking it's a unicorn, but it is a monster, not a mythical beast. So setting up that distinction is part of the world building for this project. And so, I mean, I built out a lot of those and their relationship to each other and their connections and how they represent different realms and fit into the forces and abilities of the universe. And then the structure of the greater universe, both as perceived by people in that universe and the more likely delineation of how it fits together. And so I have done a lot of interesting world building, and I've built a vast and amazing universe. And when I talk about mythic beasts, monsters, angels and demons, sandmen, champions and gods, fae, humans and wizards, and elementals and dragons and spirits and sandmen, when I talk about all of them, each one of them has a story to be told of a character or people or events in the lives of that place and those people. And so there's something on the order of like 90 to 100 different stories minimum in this setting, in this universe to play with. And so I'm sort of loving that I've built this playground to play in. And I feel like at some point I should probably write it down as a Bible, not a Bible, but like I mean, when you're writing a screenplay, you usually write a series Bible for it. And what it is been essentially telling people what is your universe, who are your main characters, what are the series of events that should happen in this story. And so that concept, this is what I've been doing. This world building is what I've been doing. And I feel like I should eventually make a world Bible for the setting, the universe, and make it available for people to write their own fiction in. I think that would be amazingly fun to do. So that's sort of what I've been actually doing this week. I haven't been writing The Goblin's Daughter. I've been establishing a grand universe in which The Goblin's Daughter is set. And that big, elaborate universe, I might even see it. I've been debating. It's been in and out of my brain today. The possibility of making a role-playing game set in this universe. That would be very, very interesting. And I would have a series of short stories and novels to flesh out the entire universe. Give it flavor, give it a sense of what's going on. So you're not just told what the situation is, but you genuinely feel how it plays out in that universe. I've had an immense amount of fun playing with this today. I have done literally nothing else today other than eat. But I've been really into this today. Ooh, we're almost at 45 minutes, so I'm probably going to call it right here. And then thank you for joining me. I will catch you again tomorrow. I will do a more in-depth, well, I mean, we did pretty in-depth today. I will do a more coherent, maybe, approach to describing what we've achieved in these last 4 days. And then, yeah, I think that's what I need to do tomorrow. I got a lot of other things to do on the side to get prepped for some of the other stuff I'm doing. But I will call it here for tonight. I thank you for joining me, and take care and have a good night. Yeah, no kidding. All right.